What is up, ghouls, gamers, and goblins? PotatoBagel here. If you've seen my previous videos, you know I'm making a ROM hack of Pokemon Crystal. This video will be the last one covering all the changes I made to the Pokemon themselves, their level up moves and stats. It's no mystery that the level up learn sets in early Pokemon games kinda suck, so now that all the moves and type changes are out of the way, we can finally work on the level up and stat changes. Starting off with the level up move changes, I followed a structure similar to what's used in the modern games. Most first stage Pokemon, like the starters, tend to learn a new move every 3 to 4 levels, with that gap increasing as they evolved. This served as a good benchmark for understanding when a Pokemon would evolve and what moves they would have prior to a specific gym. Because of the breeding mechanic, every Pokemon needs to level up moves starting from level 1, gradually working their way up through the levels. Most Pokemon will stop learning moves anywhere between 45 and 55. Some exceptions to this include the legendaries and pseudo-legendaries. Along the way, every Pokemon is going to have plenty of options for stat moves, so don't worry about having to move to the Thunderbolt onto Ampharos. Already done. Any vanilla level up moves are capped, obviously with the level scaling slightly different. For some Pokemon, some TM or Egg moves might be added to help fill up the list, and most moves are used by at least 3 distinct evolution lines. Pokemon like Yanma and Tangela get Ancient Power by level up because that's how they would evolve. I do the same for Apom, but Double Hit isn't actually a move. Some Pokemon get the HM moves by level up, like Machamp with Strength and Alakazam with Flash. There's not much I could say about this that wouldn't involve me making a 2-hour video going in depth about every Pokemon, so instead I'm going to show you what I came up with for Venomoth's level up moveset, and then the one from Let's Go, and have you say, yeah, that's fair. When coming up with the stat changes, I wanted most of the fully evolved Pokemon, specifically everything that wasn't a Gimmickmon, to have a base stat total over 400. All the starters have a base stat total of 535, only being surpassed by a few other Pokemon that aren't the obvious legendaries and pseudo-legendaries. All the single stage Pokemon that later got evolutions like Qwilfish, Yanma, and Gligar have a BST of 430, which is only higher than the starting bugs with a range of 415 to 420. Everything else is between the 450 to 490 range, with a lot of Pokemon being around 470. Anything that's close to the 500 range or above is most likely, a 3-stage mon like Victory Bell and Pidgeot, or something that already has a BST of over 500 like Heracross. I didn't power creep anything too heavily, I just closed the gap up some. Some Pokemon like Wigglytuff obviously got bigger buffs because their BST was way too low for a final stage. Nothing has a base stat arrangement that wouldn't make sense. I didn't, suddenly turn a physical attacker into a special attacker or anything like that, although I did increase Azumarill's attack stat by a lot just to basically give it huge power. Some Pokemon like Arcanine receives nerfs mostly due to the inconsistency with another Pokemon that can be seen as its counterpart, in this case Ninetales. Some Pokemon fill in niches that make them viable under certain circumstances. For example, Ledian not only gets both screens, but also has focus energy, which can be passed on through Baton Pass. Other Pokemon like Farfetch and Girafarig also get Baton Pass to go alongside their Swords Dance and Agility. There's a lot here that makes every Pokemon feel unique or covers the types you're looking for. The level up moves tend to cover the offensive bases for the Pokemon, hence why there's such an emphasis on the unique type combos, but it's through the TMs that you're able to get most of the status moves you would probably want, or coverage moves. The final thing to go over is that every Pokemon will evolve by the end of the game. The pseudo-legendaries still require level 55, but that can happen during the Elite Four run. Outside of that, the latest evolutions happen at 38. No 2-stage Pokemon will need to be in the 40s just to evolve. The Johto starters are consistent with evolutions at 17 and 34, while the Kanto ones are at 16 and 35. Even with adjusting the level curve of this game, Johto is still relatively fast-paced, as you could finalize your moves and teams before you enter the Elite Four. I don't say that like it's a bad thing. Honestly, I think it more shows how all these puzzle pieces fit together. This is definitely one of those things where upon full release of this, I can just say, look at the documentation. That wraps it up for all the Pokemon. The moves and types have already been covered, so check those out. Moving forward, I'm going to cover the leaders in Elite Four, some quality of life features, map changes, and I'll probably wrap it up with some story adjustments. Cool. Anyways, toodaloo, chuckle nuts, and stay frothy. I didn't know where else to put this, so I'll tack this on here at the end, but on screen I'm probably going to have all of the level up moves for the final Johto starters, just so you guys have a better understanding of what I actually did going through each and every Pokemon. The main emphasis of this was obviously all the final stages. I wanted Electabuzz to feel balanced, but I didn't really need to do anything to allocate aside from adjust its level up moves and maybe when it evolves. Anyway, take care, stay frothy, toodaloo.